Hi, my name is Reverend Carole Kiamah, and this is Thoughts of a Shaken Pastor Season 3. In this season, we've been dealing with the issue of deconstruction. Why is it that a massive number of Christians who vehemently believed have begun walking out of their faith? As we were researching for this season, we realized that there could be myriad reasons. It could be because of divorce, or a painful situation, or abuse, or dealing with a chronic illness. So many reasons. And yet, we realized that there are people who've gone through the same reasons and have not walked out of faith. And so today it's my extreme pleasure to introduce my friend as she shares her story of dealing with waiting for a baby. So Edna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Edna, as you've said. I'm married to James Kimani, and together we are blessed with 3 children. And I'm a born-again believer, and I serve as a pastor at Carole Community Chapel.
Okay,
Yes.
How long have you guys been married?
We just celebrated our 13th anniversary.
Yay! Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, so we've been married for 13 years, and we are looking and praying to God for more.
Amen. When did you get saved?
I got born again, I don't know how to calculate, but at 21, now I'm 39. So, yes.
18.
18 years.
Yeah.
18
Yes.
years, yeah. Yeah, I got born again at the age of 21.
Okay, so you were already born again when you got married.
Yes. We actually met in church.
Oh,
We
wow.
were serving together.
For those of you who don't serve in church, please start serving in church. I also met Tony in church.
Oh, nice.
He was my cell group leader.
Oh, my husband was the worship leader. It works.
And here we are.
So
you say you have 3 children.
Yes, I do.
So tell us a little bit about that journey. I know it's not been... How old is your oldest child, by the way?
My firstborn is 8 years.
Okay.
8 years. Yeah.
All right.
We've been married for 13. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we got married like any other couple. We were happy, we were excited. And then at first we were not very enthusiastic about getting kids. But along the way, we just decided, now I think we are ready. And then we discovered it wasn't as easy as we had anticipated. It became hard. It wasn't an easy journey at all. So...
so you were waiting, first month, 2 months?
Yes.
1 year?
Yes.
2 years? 3
yes,
years?
And then we would Google and say, if you have tried for 6 months and you haven't gotten a baby after trying for 6 months, then chances are you have an infertility problem.
Allah?
At that point is when we realize we have a problem after Googling that it's after 6 months of trying, then you know that's a problem. Yeah, so at that time when we were Googling, it was already a year.
Okay.
So that's when we decided, okay, now we are going to try and visit a gynecologist. And we looked for one. We now started doing the tests, which are normally very rigorous. Many tests.
And they hear painful.
Some are painful, yes. There's one that is extremely painful. I think it's called an HCG test, where they are checking whether your tubes are blocked. So you can imagine they put in, it's a lot of details.
Yeah.
So that one is painful. And then you have the hormonals, blood works to check hormones. And then that one, they're able to see which hormones probably, some are higher, some are lower. And then the ones that are supposed to be higher and they are lower, they give you an injection to, make
boost
them. Yeah, boost them, yes. So it's a whole treatment there, and it's very exhausting.
And very expensive.
Yes, the expensive part comes now when all those we did, we took medication, supplements, whatever, and all that didn't work. So now we went to the next. The thing with infertility problem, you keep it's like a stairs kind of a treatment.
And were they able to realize early what was the problem? And you don't have to share with us what the problem was.
Yeah.
But you did realize there was a problem.
Yes, we did. But there was no treatment to the problem.
Okay.
There was no treatment. So now after there was no treatment to the problem, they had to do what they call IUI, where they take my husband's semen and insert, which we did at Kenyatta. And it was also a very annoying process.
What was so annoying?
First of all, it feels very plastic. I feel like you getting a baby should be such a joyful thing. The whole process should be joyful. This one, you are lying on a cold bed. all these people in the room. It's so annoying. And then you have this, they put it with some cold metal things.
It's very invasive.
Yeah,
also.
it's very invasive. Yes, it's very invasive. That's true.
And then it's a group project.
Yeah, it
What
just
should be very private.
yes, it doesn't feel intimate. Paka, you're like, now even me, I don't want this thing now. Yeah, so we did that at least, is it 3 times? So you're supposed to do that 3 times. If it fails, they can't do it again. Now you go to the next step. Like I was saying, it's a gradual process. You start with either medication, and then now next to the IUI, and then now we were now planning to do the IVF. But the IVF is very expensive. So a friend of ours had whispered to us that it's cheaper abroad, like in Germany or I don't know where. But we had already exhausted our funds. So we said we are going to wait. And when we recover financially, now that was going to be our next step.
So the 3 trials didn't work?
They didn't work. They didn't work.
How was that for you? How was that? Here you're a believer, you've trusted God, you waited for this guy, both of you were serving, and you have faith. Furthermore, you're in Bible school. At that time you're in Bible school, right?
Yeah.
So how was that like for you?
First, it was very exhausting.
Emotionally?
Yes, emotionally exhausting. And I think at that point is when I met you and we started working with you. So it was a very exhausting journey. And then it was also, there was a sense of shame to it as well. You feel like, I normally tell my friends, if, for example, you don't have food in your house, you can easily go visit a friend of yours and pretend you are passing by. And eat. It's fixable.
It's fixable.
If you don't have rent, I can call you and tell you, please, I don't have this amount. Please help me. And you can pay for me. But the thing about infertility is it's like you're stuck. And especially if you have a character like mine who likes fixing things and seeing things progressing, it becomes extremely frustrating.
You feel like your life is not moving.
It's not moving and you can't fix it. It's not like food I can borrow. It's not like clothes I can ask for. This is a situation, it's beyond you completely. And no one can even fix it for you. So I think that was my challenge. The fact that I was feeling very hopeless, stuck, and no one can pull me out. Not even my husband, who loves me very much.
Let me ask you, was there at a point where you started feeling like resentful towards each other? Or feeling like, like you're kind of angry and then you can't express it because this is someone you love? I mean,
surprisingly, my husband was the strongest in this journey and still is. My husband, to be very honest, I don't know how to put it, but it's like he didn't care. He used to tell me, it doesn't matter whether you get a child or not. Just find peace. Actually, I was the problem. Yeah, he was okay. For me, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I have a problem in my life and it has to be fixed. Yeah, so I'm the one who was adamant. He was easy. He kept telling me it's okay. Actually, he now started looking at the positive sides of not having a child. Now we are alone in the house, we have fun, we don't spend a lot of money.
You have to pay school fees.
You don't have to pay. Yeah, he was easy. He was looking at it from, my husband is an easy person. For me, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, we have to fix this problem. Yeah. So
Lazim, I have to experience being a mommy.
Yeah, so the only thing he used to do was just look at me and just wonder, now how do I help this woman? Yeah.
So after after you were unable to get the children, then what happened?
After God is a miracle worker. After we had done all that, including taking medications of 60,000 a month, and doing all that. So one day we just said, you know what, now we don't have money. Clearly we don't. And we can't visit any other doctor. So we just stayed at home. We said, first of all, we need to give ourselves like a year. That's what we agreed. We give ourselves a year so that even our systems can reboot because of all the medication and all those, and we can rest because a lot of invasive things. So we just rest.
And a lot of stress.
And stress, yes. And stress. And and I think it's you who one day told me that a child is born under 100% perfect conditions. So you can imagine with stress, it can't work. With whatever, anything that just triggers that, it can't work. So we just said, let's give ourselves 1 year. We rest. And then we just say, we have forgotten about this thing. And so that's what we did. And I accepted because even I was tired. So after we gave ourselves 1 year, in between the 1 year, we used to live somewhere like a small shopping center. I remember I decided to go to the shop to buy meat. And so as I was going to buy meat, first of all, let me just tell you about the many tests that you do, and they're negative, and that frustrating negative result. So one day as I was passing, I almost puked next to a butchery, because that's where I was going. And I was like, okay, that's very strange. And I couldn't, what is it called? I couldn't withstand the smell of meat. I didn't actually.
You, who's a meat lover.
Yeah, who's a meat lover. So I even didn't buy the meat. I just went, bought my greens, and went home. So that day we didn't eat meat. Then gradually I started feeling funny. Remember, this is like 6 months after we've not done anything, not visited any gyna, not taken anything, nothing, no assistance. So that day I decided, let me just go to the shop. First I called a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine. I told her what I'm feeling. She told me, just go buy the strip, the 50 bob strip, and test. I was like, no, I'm not buying that thing. This house is full of those things, the negative ones in the, I mean, all the time. I don't want to frustrate myself, to heartbreak myself again. No, I won't buy. Then she told me, no, just go and buy. So I went, bought the 50 bob strip, came, tested myself, and I was just there like, it's gotta be negative. And then I checked, it was double lines. So I asked myself, by the way, is double lines positive or negative? I was so confused. Is this positive or negative? I wasn't sure. So I called my friend again. She's a teacher in a girls' school, so they do a lot of tests to their girls, so she knows. I told her, first of all, I don't trust this thing, is 50 bob. And number two, you know the way our culture, expensive is better. So 50 bob, I was like, this thing is all working, it's faulty, it has expired. And then double lines, I wasn't sure. For the first time, I wasn't sure whether double lines is positive
or not.
Yeah, because my mind couldn't believe that it's actually a positive. So I was telling myself, I think either I'm not looking at it properly or I inserted it wrongly. So when I called her, she told me, actually, that's a positive. I said, that's a lie. So I think I put it upside down when I was, I think I didn't put it properly. It's faulty. She told me, no. In fact, all government schools, we use those strips for testing our girls. So it's actually a very recommended way of testing. So I was like, okay. So I called my husband. I told him, come home early today. I didn't tell him what it was because I had been heartbroken for so long. I didn't want to get excited. So I told him, come home. And then I told him, let's go to hospital. Because I didn't believe I was positive. So we went to the hospital at Upper Hill. And I told them, please, blood. I need a blood test. These strip things is not working. Blood, remove blood. So they removed. It was, by then, did I tell you, it was 11 p.m. It was almost midnight. Remove. Husband is like, can we do it tomorrow? No. Remove blood. So when they removed the
And you haven't told him?
No. I just told him I feel like. I hadn't told him the strip thing because I didn't want to heartbreak anybody. So when the results came, then the nurse was telling us, yeah, congratulations, you guys are expecting. Like, what do you mean?
Wow.
How? Why did we spend all that money? Now I was getting angry because we spent like over $500,000 to try and conceive. And now when we are not spending anything, we have conceived.
God has granted you the answer to your prayer. Let me ask you, maybe just to take you back before we celebrate the babies.
Yeah.
How was it? I mean, we're in Africa. It is expected that you will get married, you will have children, and if you're not getting children, it's because you were either naughty and you probably had abortions before, and so that's where you're by. I mean, there must be a deep, dark secret.
Yes.
And it must be your fault.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So did you feel pressure like from society, from your in-laws, from your own parents, from your friends? How was that? Just walk us through that.
First of all, I think the loudest voice in my life is my mother. And I just want to say that I am truly grateful. My mother never for one day asked me, for the 5 years that we tried to conceive, my mother never asked me what's wrong. However, like you said, rightfully said, the society is very mean, but I don't blame them. I think it's lack of, it's ignorance. It's not that people really are out to be mean. It's that they don't know how to handle these situations, abnormal situations. So I will say that people would say funny, will give out funny remarks. Even Christians, mostly Christians even.
What are some of those remarks?
Some would say, I'm the one who's refusing. Like,
You want to be a slay queen.
I want to be a slay queen.
Unajua watoto wasichana siku
Siku
hizi
hizi
hawapendi kuzaa.
hawataki. Hebu zaa mapema.
Hawataki kupoteza shape.
Hawataki kupoteza shape. Or they say that, you know, I didn't know why I was getting married. And so that was very common in another. Actually, we had to move from that environment we were in. We actually had to move from there to another environment, and I think that played a big role. Sometimes you just have to change the people that you're relating with, because they could be part of the people that are causing the stress to go up. So we had to move from a certain environment, and then we changed everything. We changed friends. We changed. We got ourselves busy. I enrolled in Bible school, and my mind started clearing. So there was a lot of peace. And then I met people who understood what it was, what infertility is. And it became lighter, not solved, but lighter.
And for you, the thing is, it had actually, medically, it had been confirmed that there was a problem.
Yes, there was a problem.
And God had miraculously, because, I mean,
Yeah.
the Bible is so clear that children are a gift.
They are.
And I think as much as we get into that thinking, you know, children are a gift, and this because we love each other, even if we don't have children, blah, blah. And then you're hit with the reality. And then you start feeling like this is so unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really I can do about this.
Yeah.
How did that impact your faith?
First of all, backsliding was not an option for me. Because first of all, I didn't have anywhere else I would go. So now I started going to the clubs, and that was not a life I had even envisioned I could live. So I still had to be born again. But then there was a lukewarmness. It's not a backsliding. It's like when you hear people say the Lord is a miracle worker, you say, yeah, he is. I've seen him do things for people. Yeah, he is. Yeah, so you know he is, but not to you. Yeah. So you just have that moment. You know God is good, but good, wow, to others. So you celebrate other people. But when it comes to you, you don't actually see the goodness of God in your life. So you have to constantly, you know, it's a waiting process. You have to, like, incubate. Just stay there. You know God is good, but you're just there as you wait your turn. So it's not like you are enthusiastic. It's not like you are celebrating. It's not like you're happy. You're also not sad. You're just there. That's what I'm saying.
You're just existing.
You're just existing. So for me, that was my state. I wasn't jealous. I attended all the baby showers that were. I went, and in fact, one time I remember there's a friend of mine who was expecting, and I met her in the library, and she was Googling 3 months pregnancy, what are the symptoms? You know, the way we Google, and then she was Googling. And I just came from behind. I saw her, she was Googling, and I just came to say, wow, this is what you should be feeling at this. So when I came from behind to just talk to her, she just shut the laptop very fast. And what is it? She said, no, I don't want you to see. You don't understand. So I just looked at her. That really, it did. Painful. It's painful, but you see, on the other hand, I wasn't like jealous. In fact, I was so happy. I wanted even to read what she's reading. But now for her, she thought if I saw, she would trigger me. No, but that was not me. I was happy for people. But at the same time, I was like, okay, for me, we are just there. Maji baridi.
Yeah. I remember a friend of mine, they were sharing with us about their journey, and they said, you know, that sometimes even just being intimate became like,
it's work. It's
Baba Nani, you know.
I remember we told you after intimacy, you put your legs, you should have seen. It's like gymnastics.
It's like a science. Yeah, and I'm sure that begins to strain on the relationship.
Yeah, for sure. You can't even conceive under such circumstances. Yeah, it's not funny.
So how was that for you and Kim? Like, did any of you run away to work, or you start feeling like, and your home is... How did you deal with the stress?
Like I said earlier, my husband wasn't stressed. I don't think he was ever stressed. I don't think, and that's Kimani for you. Kimani is always easy, and I thank God for him because me being me, I'm mostly anxious. So him, he was not stressed. For me, after I realized, I was really, it's like I was talking to a stone with my anxiety. Him, he wasn't like, he was non-responsive.
What is there to be anxious about?
Him, he
Cast
was
your
like,
anxieties upon the Lord.
Yeah, by the way, that's his mantra. Him is like, no, if God wants us to have kids, we will have. If he doesn't want us to have kids, we won't have.
Which is true.
Yeah, so him, it was easy. I think his faith was intact. So when I realized he's not helping me with my anxiety, like he's not joining me in my anxiety,
Being anxious.
so I just decided to look for friends now, like you. And then now I would now talk to other people. I started now talking, and the pressure would come off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I did.
So that you don't have to go home and
give him
your illness.
Yes.
Then you're all sick together.
Yes, that's what
nice.
I would do.
That's really
nice.
Nice. So fast forward here, you are in hospital and you realize you're actually pregnant.
Yes. I couldn't believe it, and it was an easy pregnancy. By then, I've never had any difficult pregnancies. I had no complication whatsoever. The baby was born at 3.4. You know, just perfect. So what happened after we got our baby? He was 1 year. My husband was like, "Are we going to try any form of contraception?" And I said, "No. You see, if we waited for 5 years without getting a baby, we probably will not get another one. So let's just stay like that, because we are not sure whether we might wait another 5 years. So what even are we blocking?" And it has been hard for us. We are not going to use anything. So we just stayed like that.
And this was a boy. What's his name? What's his baby's name?
He's Ediel Manyeki. Ediel Manyeki. So we just stayed like that. The month we said, let's stay like that, I started feeling nausea again. So my firstborn and my secondborn, they just have a 1 year, 9 months gap.
Oh, wow.
Immediately, no assistance, no visiting any gyna. I don't even think the gyna we used to see knows I have 3 children now.
So Edian, Innate, they are 7 and 6.
Yes.
And then now you got a baby girl.
I did.
Let me just be honest.
Yeah.
I felt Kiwaru. I was like, I thank God for my 3 boys.
Yeah.
But I was like, she's going to get a girl. She's going to do nail polish. They're going to go to the salon.
Let me tell you, my husband is actually a prophet or something. Alikuwa ananiambia when we just got married, me, I want, if we ever get kids, I want 2 boys and like a last born girl. That's what he used to tell me all the time. You know, girls, they take care of their dads. Like boys. So when we went to do the scan, and the radiologist, they're called radiologists?
Yes, yeah.
He says, it's a girl. It's just, he's crying. Then I'm looking at him like, I'm like, God loves you more than me.
I know. When we were doing the last scan, John was like, we were there, and then the doctor asks, so, boy, girl, and I thought it's a girl.
Yeah.
And then everyone said boy. Yeah. And it's like, surprise, it's a boy. And I mean, the way he was positioned, you could tell this is a boy. And I was so, like, at that time I was like, I won't have a girl. But now I look at them and I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, it's such a privilege to be a parent.
That is true.
I wouldn't trade Tony or TJ for anyone. And I think it's something that we take so much for granted. And I believe that sometimes God allows you to wait so that he can entrust you. I mean, when you look at in the Bible, all the people who got their children late on in life or waited, I think it makes you not take the privilege lightly, because you know that it's a gift. That's true. Kids come from very far. Now I do appreciate when you see someone who is pregnant, getting a baby. It's actually something to thank God for, because it's not easy. And for people who are struggling to get children, it's pain, like I said earlier, it's pain you cannot explain. It's a starkness that you can't, I don't know, you just can't get out of it until God intervenes. It's an act of God. It's an act of God. And really, I don't think it, I don't know. And maybe someone would say I can easily say that because I haven't walked the journey. But I think we all need to, when I got TJ, I don't know if that happened to you. I didn't feel, I used to think, okay, first let me think. I think the most precious thing I'd bought was a gas cooker. Actually, let me just be honest. I didn't even buy the gas cooker. It was a gift from a friend. And I remember the feeling of ownership. This is my thing. And wanting to bake all the time. And I remember sometimes we just put it on and it's cooking. Okay, this will sound so dumb. But Tony and I would be sitting, put off the lights, and we're just watching the light from the oven. I mean, it was such a, it belongs to me. And so
it's
I
working.
thought that when I get a child, and I feel like it's an extension of me, and then I'm given this child, and they're their own person. Did you feel that? I mean, you love the child for sure, but it's not that ownership.
No.
You realize this is a person.
Yes. And they actually have a purpose in life.
Exactly.
Outside of you. Yeah, for
and
sure.
And a personality.
That is,
that
different. You cannot even shape. It's their personality. That one is true. That's what I see in my kids. I look at them and I'm like, I don't know where they even, when they tell me things, I'm not the one who taught them that.
They can think by themselves.
I'm like, who taught your kids to speak like that? I don't know. They just taught themselves. So you can see, that's why I'm saying getting a child or having children is really beyond us. It's not selfish. It's beyond us.
Assignment.
It's like an assignment. And all you have to do is just bring them into the earth, take care of them, nurture them, and then you let God continue to do what he wants to do in their lives. That's what it is.
Maybe that's an encouragement to someone watching us, and you are really striving to have a biological child. I think for me, I realized that a child is born more of the heart than the body. And so even if we were to adopt, which is something we've really been thinking about, I know now that I can love any other child the way I love mine. Because they are mine. However they came, they belong to me.
That's true.
And I am just a steward. Actually, they never belonged to me. I think let me do a quick correction. The child never belongs to you. No. The child belongs to God. And you're just privileged to help them write the beginning pages of their life.
That's true.
And kind of just encourage them in the shaping that the Lord has for their destiny.
That's all you have to do.
That's all. I think, and that's all that parenting is. And sometimes I think put for ourselves a lot of pressure, thinking that it would be different if the child is from my body.
Yeah.
I don't know.
By the way, I was open, coming to think about it. I was very open even to adopting. I didn't mind. But, because of our family situation, we just said, let's keep trying.
Yeah.
But I had told myself, if this thing doesn't work, because the nurturing need was there, I had said I'm going to adopt. I'll tell you a story. One time, I really felt that nurturing desire come upon me so badly, and I didn't know what to do. I remember I went to House of Leather, and I bought this bowl, the fish bowl. And I said, I'm going to put it next to the TV, and then I'm going to buy myself a golden fish. So when it's moving, I'll know I'm nurturing something. So I'll be dropping in some rice inside there, some things, so that I can feel like I'm taking care of something, because I didn't like dogs and I didn't like cats. So I thought a fish would be safer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad the cat is not here with us right now.
You have a cat. But that's how it is. You feel so hopeless. To a point that you just feel, I need something. I really need something. But it shouldn't be like that. But if you tell someone who's in that process of waiting, that just let it to God, it looks very insensitive.
Yeah, and I think also sometimes God gives us a desire because he has a plan to fill it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it makes you any less a mother, whether you're raising your own biological child, whether you're raising a child of somebody, or whether you're just mothering the world.
Yeah.
Because we are called differently and we're given different assignments.
Very true.
And I think it's just accepting the journey that the Lord gives you to walk, and accepting the grace he gives you to walk it.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a special grace in there.
There is a special
but
it's
grace
very
for
tough.
waiting. Yeah.
It's very tough.
And I think there's a part you talked about it feeling shameful. Why do you think people feel shamed? Where does this shaming come from? I mean, that feeling of like
shame.
Yeah,
it's so absurd why you feel shameful. But it's either the fact that you have failed. There's that feeling you're a failure. Like you haven't done what other people have done. It's like the way you fail in your exams. So it's a failing feeling. Like I can't rise up to the occasion. So,
and what helped you with that? What kept you walking?
Most of the times I would avoid places that I know would probably bring out that feeling. So a lot of social gatherings, I would first of all vet what kind of people are there. What are they going? I didn't like people who were asking me questions, a lot of questions. And of course, our African culture, we are very inquisitive. How are you? How is your marriage? How are your children? And all that. Oh, sorry. Why are you in a hurry to go anywhere? You don't have children in the house. There's one person who actually asked me, when you're going to take care of your cockroaches? I remember one particular lady asked me that. Why are you rushing? You don't have anything to go and take care of, or anyone. So,
and people say it so easily, and they just don't know how painful.
They say it in what is that? Snide remarks.
Snide.
It's like a joke. They expect you to laugh. It's not like but they say there is no slip of the tongue. So in actual sense, that's what they're thinking. Then they say it in a very joking way.
So sometimes, like if you go to shags and people are giving food.
Yes. And then you're told, don't give her tundo mas.
Ni wawili tu.
Ni wawili tu. Them they are stocking. Maziwa unapewa lita moja anyway. Why would she need 5 liters? Yeah. Which is true anyway. But you see, I mean, it's a reminder. Constant reminder.
And I don't know even if it's true, because sometimes that baby is so small, they're definitely not going to eat the ndoma.
Yeah.
When you really think about it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So that is how it is. Our society, we don't know how to handle situations that are not normal. Because we have this idea of a lady gets to a certain age. So if you get to 30, it's not a certain age. So you get to a certain age, you're supposed to get married. After 1-2 years, you get a child. That's the way we think should be normal. But so anything that happens that is not as normal or part of how things should flow, people start talking, people start making remarks. You enter into a room, for example, you're a 30-year-old lady or a man and you're not married. You enter into a room, people can't hear what you're saying. They're just looking at your situation. This person is 30. Are you aware you are 30 and you have not...
What are you waiting for? Why are you so choosy?
What is wrong? Hey. And I've just come to realize, because I hang around many young people, I've realized it's not easy getting a spouse. As the way as for us who have gotten, we think it was easy for us, it's easy for everyone. So I feel like we need to be sensitive on how we handle things that are not flowing the way they should flow in our minds.
Walking through that journey, what do you think would have been helpful for you? Like, what are some of the practical things that you feel could have been helpful, or someone could have done as a believer or as a church to make this journey a little bit more bearable?
That's a very good question. I think first of all is to realize, like what I was just trying to insinuate, is to realize that someone is not just their problem. That is not the only thing that you are. For example, if you don't have a child, that person is not just a childless person. This person could be a sister, could be a career woman, could be doing business, so there are many other facets to this person. And so appreciate those other facets of that person. Don't keep highlighting.
Don't label.
Yeah, don't keep highlighting, the ule mama wa pale mwenye hananga watoto. Like that's the only thing that defines you. That defines you. Try and look for other things in a person that are beyond their problem. And then the other thing is prayer. We might not talk about it all the time because, like I was saying, it's a journey. So there are highs and lows. So not every day that will be a discussion on the table. So when I'm not talking about it, don't talk about it. Just pray for me. Pray for that person. When you remember them, you don't know their struggles. And even us who don't have children, we have different struggles. Because I said, for me, my husband wasn't bothering me. He was easy. There's someone else who is married, doesn't have a child, but their husband is bothering them.
They want to marry again.
And they want to marry again. So those are different situations. So you can't cluster people. That these are the people who don't have children. Even in that cluster that you're trying to create, the struggle is different. So pray for, because you don't understand the depth of the pain, just pray for them. But one thing you need to know is that there is pain for sure. There is pain. So the level, the depth, that one we may never know. Yeah.
There could be a lady listening to us, or a gentleman, or some people who are trusting God for children.
Yeah.
And I know that the story ended well for you.
Yes.
And, well, let me not say well. The story ended different.
Yeah.
And so they could be waiting And there are those who've waited 10, 15, 20 years, and the story has not been the same for them. They're still in that place of waiting, or they've gotten peace at it, or maybe they're waiting with hope, and everyone else has given up. Because, I mean, if Sarah could wait until she's like almost 90-something,
Yeah.
God is not limited. What would you want to tell them? Maybe you can look at them and talk to them.
Yes. So what I would tell them is, because I've walked that journey, there is no answer that fits all. There is no response that I can tell you that is it. This is what you need to do. First of all, we want to acknowledge the pain of the waiting and the pain of what people have told you, sometimes they don't even say, but how they act. We might never be able to, deal with that, but we acknowledge. And then the other thing is, I would say continue waiting on God. It sounds cliche, but there's nothing else we can do apart from waiting on God. And if he comes, we say thank you. If he doesn't come, we still thank him, because he will still bless you in many other ways. And I know it looks insensitive, but I have walked that journey, and it came to a point in my life where I thought for a moment, if it never happens, what would become of me? And so you have to accept that if it never happens, I'll still be grateful. I'll still be joyful. I'll still thank God, even in my pain. That is what it means to maybe suffer. Long suffering. Fruit of the Spirit is long suffering. So you just take it and walk the journey. It's not an easy journey, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a deep answer to it, because it's a very personal and deep issue.
Yeah.
So I don't have a particular answer.
But I like what you said, that all of us have the thing that we need to deal with. All of us in this side of, and Jesus was very clear about that in this world we'll know tribulation. But I like how that verse ended. It says, but be of good cheer, because God has overcome the world. Yeah. And I remember even in this, as one of our guests sharing about her waiting for 10 years and then getting a child with special needs, and recognizing that in that 10-year period, God was dealing with both of them. It was a couple to prepare them for the gift that he was going to give them.
Yes.
And if they hadn't waited, they wouldn't have recognized that their precious little girl, she's called Tammy, she's so pretty, that she was a gift. That she was a gift. And
appreciate
so
her.
Yeah. And so you could be sitting there, and God has some special gift that he wants to give you. You know, a child that will need you to be more patient, to have more grace, to have more faith. People like John the Baptist, people like Samson. I mean, special children that have a special assignment. And God is giving you this season to prepare you to be able to carry that. Or God could just be increasing your nurture base so that you are able to love. You know, sometimes when you have only one child, you assume my nurturing consists of me nurturing Tijetori and Dayo. But sometimes God wants me to nurture a bigger space. So wants me to take care of other children who may not have had the privilege of being parented. And I remember there's a course I was doing called Fascinating Womanhood, and teacher said something that has really stayed with me. She says, we are children of Eve, and Eve was the mother of the living. And she says, as women, we are called to nurture. We nurture our space, we nurture the people around us. Whether or not God blesses us with our own biological offspring, he still has given us the gift of nurturing.
Yes.
And I guess for gentlemen, the gift of protecting. And so we need then to ask God, how can I
nurture? Give me spaces
where this nurturing
and there are
can
many.
get accommodated.
Yes, that's true. I agree with you.
So is there like a verse or a song that carried you in this season?
Yes, there is a song actually, not a verse. It's a Michael W. Smith song. He never sleeps, he never slumbers.
Oh,
you know that song?
Yes.
Yeah, that song carried me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes, that's a song I would listen to.
And I pray that as you're watching us and you're going through this, that song will carry you, because for sure, God doesn't sleep and God doesn't slumber. Be encouraged, and God bless you. Bye.